I don't want to be in an ice age. I don't like the cold. Hi, my name is Jill. You are here at Road Culture Rules, and today we're going to tap into the cold. Everybody's excited about it. We can call it the grand solar minimum. We can call it global cooling. We can talk about it as a coming ice age, even though we don't know if that's happening for sure. We can call it climate change. You can call it whatever you want. Throughout the beginning of time, climate has affected those who want to be a nomad and has caused others to become refugees. That's what we're talking about here today. But before we do that, we're going to take a deep breath, hold for 4, exhale, and see you on the other side. So I wanted to touch base on this topic that I've talked about before. I just haven't talked about it recently, and the videos have been kind of deep and introspective. So I thought we would go back to something that was more practical, and that is really, since the beginning of time, climate and the environment determines where humans live. They determined how people migrated since the beginning of time. And I think in our world today, we've forgotten that. We tend to think that we can control our environment. It's sort of become, as man has embraced technology, a lot of that technology has been about controlling our external world. We control temperatures, we control precipitation, we control growing conditions. We like to control things. And if one thing that Mother Nature teaches us, in the end, nature always wins. But the good news is that we live in a world today where our ability to use technology in a positive way, well, one, it's either going to be the end of us or it's going to be the way out for us. But despite all of those trends and potentials and possibilities, I still believe that the whole idea of being nomadic and being a refugee are very real, which is why, I'm talking about this kind of stuff. And so I want to do 2 things today. One, I'm going to link below 4 different YouTube sites that talk about what's happening to give you more educational information, because as we've established, I am not an expert in climate, in the sun, in any of that stuff. I'm just excited about it. My expertise lies in people and what we're going to do about all of it. So I'm going to put those links below. There's 4 I'm including. The first one is Suspicious Observers, which talks about how the universe is working, how weather is working, how the sun is working, how earthquakes, all that kind of stuff from a very scientific perspective. The second one I'm going to be including is the Thunderbolt Project, which really is talking about our universe as an electric universe. And I think it's important to start embracing the idea that not all science is definitive, and the very nature of science is understanding cause and effect, which will always be a question. The minute you stop asking questions is the minute it's all over for you. The third one I'm going to add in there is Adapt 2030, and he gets a little excited, but he does a really good job of pulling in all kinds of content data, graphs, pictures, things like that, of what's going on internationally. We tend to get a little myopic here in America. And the fourth one is a guy named Ice Age Farmer. And the reason I'm including him is he is very practical and solution oriented. And so you've heard me talk about building out this trailer as a way to deal with extreme weather. He talks about that and more in a much more functional and practical, pragmatic manner, which brings you back to where I am participating into this potentially global cooling party. And like I said, since the beginning of time, climate and the environment have required human to move, whether it's a growing season, whether it's because of disasters and safety issues, whether it's because it's too hot or too cold. Climate, whatever your belief system is, drives human existence. And one of the things that I see, which is one of the reasons why I embrace this lifestyle, is that if things do become cooler, it doesn't mean that we're going to glaciate. It does mean our growing season is going to change and the challenges of food are going to change. And part of that, I think, might include a more mobile workforce to deal with the seasonal changes so that you can physically move with the season and help both produce and get access to food. The second piece of that is shelter, in that this type of living environment is not practical. I don't know if you've seen those pictures where everything is completely iced over. It's not a good idea to be living in a little tiny metal box in the middle of sub-zero, whichever Fahrenheit or Celsius version you want to go with, environment. So the beauty of being on wheels is the ability to move away from the extreme climates so that during certain times of the year you can be in a spot that is more conducive to this particular lifestyle. The third part of all of that is our health. And one of the things I like about Suspicious Observer is he's talked quite a bit about health in relationship to cosmic rays, to the sun, but there's also a lot of health issues around the actual cold itself. So if you're getting older or you have health problems, that's something that you probably need to start looking into and doing a little bit of research. I have talked about it before, but not today. So the fourth, in my tier of food, shelter, health, and community is this idea of being nomadic or a refugee in terms of how it relates to community. And part of what I see, when I lived in California, what happens on the Rose Bowl parade is, the whole world watches the Rose Bowl out of Southern California. Doesn't matter how bad the weather was before or how bad the weather was the day after. Every single January 1st, it was picture blue skies. And lots of people would make the decision as they were shivering in their homes, I'm moving to California. And I think this year is going to start some of that exodus in that it's just too cold. I can't cope with the cold. It's something I've known that would probably happen for a long time. It's why I'm in New Mexico and plan on staying in the Southwest, is that as people get unable to cope, not everybody can move, but you will start to see a nomad refugee exodus, I think, to the more southern areas of the United States and potentially out of the United States, wherever country you're in. And that's just, I think, going to be very real. And anytime you see any kind of migrational changes with large numbers of people, there's all kinds of issues that go with that also. Now, I'm not here to give you all your answers today. I'm here, again, to just plant those seeds and to get you to start thinking about it, because there's just a core reality. Not everybody can work a farm or buy land. Not everybody can move. Not everybody can go mobile. Not everybody's physically able to cope or deal with any of this. And so I don't like to scare people. I do believe in thinking and creative problem solving within the parameters that exist for you. And that will be different for all of us. And it could be that there are very minor changes in our lives, and there could be drastic and humongous changes in our lives. And there's just no way to plan or prepare or prevent all of that from happening. I think I just demonetized myself again. So the best we can do is the best we can do at any given moment. Everybody always does the best that they can at any given moment. So upsetting ourselves because we can't create some kind of theoretical, perfect, off-grid, farming, food-producing, magical community where everybody gets along, I don't care about that. That's never happens. That's just not real. But I'm making this today because this is real. It doesn't matter what the climate does. It always drives human migration. And I think we're on the brink of seeing not just a lot of people living this lifestyle because of financial reasons. I think that we're starting on the brink of seeing people doing it for climate reasons. And within that context, one, will be a lot of problems, but two, there's going to be a lot of opportunity. A lot of opportunity. So you just get to decide which side of that fence you want to sit on, which is why we're here. So that's just my little bit for today. But before we go, we're going to take one more deep breath for the road, as I hope you'll rise with the sun in your eyes, love in your heart, feet firmly on the ground as we walk together, which is why I call it Survival Road, one step at a time. Live free, die wild, my friend. We will see you next time.